Honourable Members, question number 268 has been asked by the Honourable S.N. Swart to the Minister of Finance. The question is about the steps to be taken to alleviate the burden of taxpayers, specifically by reducing wasteful and inefficient government spending, considering that taxpayers are currently overtaxed. The Honourable Minister.
Thank you, House Chair. Government's long-term strategy for tax policy is to broaden the tax basis and lower rates where possible and given the economic environment at the time, with the caveat that spending pressures may periodically necessitate tax increases. To improve revenue collections, government will continue to investigate possibilities of closing down loopholes, broadening tax bases by limiting unnecessary exemptions and deductions, reviewing efficacy of tax expenditures, and supporting better tax administration, including the additional spending allocation to SARS of 7.5 billion over the next 3 years. I and the National Treasury have committed to also, one, undertake to audit an audit of ghost workers, starting with national and provincial departments. 2, use ongoing detailed review of labour market activation programs and public employment program to consolidate and rationalize the entire public employment ecosystem. The aim of the review is to reduce duplications and improve operational efficiencies across the more than 100 active labour market programs in over 20 public institutions. The recommendation of this review will be presented to Cabinet in due course. 3, the Treasury will implement significant changes to the budget process by reassessing the initial assumptions informing the budget with a view to creating room for improved spending. The consolidated recommendation of the spending reviews will be taken to Cabinet with an intention of pursuing their implementation by the executive. In this regard, the President has also undertaken to establish a committee between the Presidency and National Treasury to identify waste, inefficiency, and underperforming programs. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. Honourable Members, I've been informed that the Honourable Thring will take charge of the first question on behalf of the Honourable Swart in accordance with Rule 137, Sub-Rule 10A. I now recognize the Honourable Thring.
Thank you, Honourable House Chairperson. Honourable Minister, perhaps before I begin answering the question, the ACDP actually voted against the report yesterday, and some of the DA members have actually falsely indicated that the ACDP voted in favour. So we'd ask for, it's out in the public media, so we'd ask for the DA leadership to please address some of their members to ensure that they do not put out false information. Minister, the ACDP is concerned that according to the recent research by the Aluma Capital Chief Economist Frederick Mitchell, South Africans are overtaxed and far beyond the Laffer curve, meaning any more tax hikes to raise revenue will likely have the opposite effect, leading to the law of diminishing returns. Higher taxes may disincentivize work, entrepreneurship, and investment, or lead to immorality and non-compliance, effectively reducing the overall tax base and revenues. The ACDP agrees with Mitchell, who argues that further taxes will hurt the South African economy, and government should focus on cutting its spending. And while the budget did not contain a direct tax increase for personal income tax, the fact that personal tax brackets and rebates will not be adjusted for inflation and the 2025-26 results in effect to a tax increase which will, according to National Treasury, raise revenue of some 19.5 billion. In addition, the 0.5 tax increase for the next 2 years goes ahead. Now, Minister, National Treasury plans to reduce wasteful government expenditure through measures like spending reviews, reallocation funds to match priorities and improving spending efficiency, while also focusing on protecting critical frontline services. While we appreciate your reference to such reductions in your reply, when is it expected that these reductions will begin to bear fruit in reducing government expenditure? And can the Minister confirm that the decisions regarding the non-adjustment of tax brackets and rebates for inflation, as well as the VAT increases, will be dropped once additional funding is sourced from your spending reviews? Thank you.
The Honourable Minister.
A reading of the budget review will probably confirm what the honourable member is saying, insofar as two particular taxes. That's what we have said. We have said, for instance, on the corporate income tax, we're sitting at far above the OECD levels. We're also saying, insofar as income tax, we're sitting at the levels of the developed world. And therefore, which presupposes that indeed we've got to look at those taxes cut with an impressive eye. We would agree with the honourable member in that regard. It is, by the way, insofar as the 0.5% in the 26-27 financial year, we've made it absolutely clear that a consideration will be made in dropping that if possible. Secondly, we intend, if the revenue allows us, I must qualify this, if the revenue allows us to also provide further tax reliefs on the income tax side. And we do not, as I've indicated, if you look at the attempted budget of the 19th, we were providing tax relief on the income tax side. So we are looking at the possibility, if the revenue allows us to do so, to look at to review the tax proposals moving forward. Insofar as the spending reviews, we've made the point, even in the reply here, that we will be taking a document to Cabinet in the next few months of the existing spending reviews, and proposed new spending reviews will be taken into account. As to the when will these, any savings that arise, will depend on whether they can be effective in the next financial year, or should we make an adjustment during the medium-term budget policy statement in October. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Minister.